And talking about sagas that are dragging on, Carve, Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, I don't know whether I should call it a saga yet, because nothing's actually happened, really. But we kind of all think he wants out. Do we increasingly think he's going to go? Because he's just not going to be happy staying there at a club or not in the Champions League?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot has happened behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I think Manchester United are under increasing pressure behind the scenes to terminate his contract. We've seen the situation with Alexis Sanchez at Inter, Arturo Vidal at Inter, where Inter have agreed to effectively tear up their contracts so that the players can leave as free agents and join another club. We saw it with Aaron Ramsey at Juventus. We saw it with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at Arsenal as well. I think Ronaldo's camp, it would suit them if Manchester United were to do that. Because otherwise, if you look at it, the numbers involved are absolutely crazy for a player of his age. He's 37 now. If you pay the £12 million thereabouts transfer fee that United want, and then you pay his wages of £500,000 a week on a 2-year contract, you add that all up and it comes to £64 million investment that an interested club would have to make on a 37-year-old player. I know Ronaldo is good. I know he's arguably the greatest player ever. But who's going to spend that kind of money on a 37-year-old? So if he was to be a free agent, then I think there would be a lot more interest.
Still a massive sum of money, and in a way, 12 million quid.
But I think he would take.
In terms of the overall amount of money involved, 12 million quid is not that significant.
I think he would take a pay cut to move to a club in the Champions League because he's so obsessed with scoring even more goals to make sure that Lionel Messi doesn't eventually overtake him in the Champions League goal-scoring charts. But I don't think this is particularly good look for Manchester United the longer this drags on. There was a very, very good column in the Times by Henry Winter this morning. The intro was, Erik ten Hag is the future of Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo is the past. And Henry went on to say that as far as he was concerned, it would suit all parties best if Ronaldo was to get his wish and to leave United.
He did also look at all the clubs who potentially might buy him and came up with pretty good reasons for most of them why they weren't going to go for him.
I think if he was a free agent, most of those clubs would be interested.
Okay.
Just picking up on that, I think Ronaldo might have put Manchester United in quite a difficult position here.
You don't say.
If you go back a month, it's been a month now since he made it clear that he wants to leave Manchester United, play for a Champions League club. But when that happened, I think a lot of people's assumption was that Jorge Mendes had lined up 2 or 3 offers ready to present to Manchester United. Here's a suitable offer, just accept it and we can move on. But there weren't any offers. And so it looked like then that Jorge Mendes and Cristiano Ronaldo had made their feelings clear to drum up interest in the player. Now, since then, nothing has materialised. Now, I just wonder whether Erik ten Hag is growing tired of this whole situation to the point where he is saying, look, we need to move on without Cristiano Ronaldo. And if that's the case, then United might then find themselves in a position of having to accept a deal from another club that is not going to fulfil the valuation of what they believe Cristiano Ronaldo to be. I mean, Carve's mentioned the termination of a contract. That in itself is going to hurt Manchester United because there'll be no transfer fee involved.
Yeah, but it's not like they spent 200 million to buy it.
No, but the fact of the matter is
and they've made plenty back on commercial deals.
We've got to the 2nd of August. We're a few days away from the start of the season, and Erik ten Hag is still counting on Cristiano Ronaldo being part of the squad, being part of the team, and he's hardly featured in pre-season.
Well, that's a big question. I mean, is he? Do you think he is counting on Ronaldo being part of the team?
Well,
publicly, yeah.
Publicly, yes, but
I think Ronaldo and his camp have had a reality check over the past month, because saying a player of his stature is available and going and shopping him around the elite clubs, and for all of them to effectively come out quite strongly and say, no, he's not for us. We did talk about it because I think that's due diligence. As a top club, you have to assess when a player of that esteem becomes available, what he does in a commercial sense for the club. You talk through those kind of things. So Bayern, Napoli, Atletico, Chelsea, long list of clubs who all said, we were offered him, we did discuss it, but no thank you. Does a termination of a contract change that much? Maybe for a club like Atleti a little, who Diego Simeone does like Ronaldo, but still it's quite an investment to make for a player of that age who, as phenomenal as he has been and for all the accolades he's won in his career, is not representative of a progressive style of football and the way the game is heading. And that then is in contrast to Erik ten Hag and what he's trying to implement at United. And watching them through pre-season on tour, the fluidity of that front three, Martial, Sancho and Rashford,
And the work they got through.
yeah, was amazing. And how well they translated Ten Hag's principles into match situations, how tenacious they were out of possession, and the chemistry they had with each other. You kept watching it, and everyone in the press box was saying, how much does this dynamic change when Ronaldo is introduced? One of the key things is actually Martial and how impressed the coaching staff were with him.
Yeah.
And, one of them said, well, it's because he's got the opportunity to start. He knows that.
Yeah.
With Ronaldo returning, does that opportunity diminish? Then does his attitude change?
Let me pick that up with Chris Boyd, who is going to be with us on Sky Sports News this evening, watching Rangers' third-round Champions League qualifying game against Union Saint-Gilloise of Belgium. But what about the Cristiano Ronaldo situation? Chris, good evening to you. What do you make of the whole thing?
I think it's turned into a total mess, to be honest, for both player and the football club. When a new manager arrives, he wants everybody on side. It's quite clear that Cristiano Ronaldo isn't on side. He doesn't want to be there. I think when you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, he came in last year. He done, what he needed to do in terms of scoring goals. Manchester United obviously came up short in their bid for Champions League football, and that's where Cristiano Ronaldo sees himself performing every single European game. That's the level he wants to be at, and he wants to break every single record. Listen, people can go on about players are there to do their best for the team, but Cristiano Ronaldo is interested in Cristiano Ronaldo, and if he's like that, then he's still doing his part from the team. But if you go right through Ronaldo's career, it's always been about Cristiano Ronaldo, and even right now at 37-year-old, it's the exact same, because it's a case now of he wants to be playing football in the Champions League, and he's not going to get that at Manchester United. And I think Melissa's right in terms of they've went round the houses with the big clubs. Nobody's interested. I think Atletico Madrid, when you look at some of or listen to what their fans had to say as well, they were pretty outspoken on it and didn't want him anywhere near the football club. So the reality check is that Cristiano Ronaldo is no longer at the level that he was and can demand the wages that he was with the top clubs in Europe. He might go and get more money elsewhere, but it's not going to be the top European Champions League teams that they thought he was going to get.
So let me take you to September the 1st. Is Cristiano Ronaldo still there?
It's what, sorry?
Is Cristiano Ronaldo still at Old Trafford at the end of the window?
No, I don't think so. I think that it has to be resolved one way or another. The season starts on Saturday. He's played, 45 minutes of football. Even for somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo, it's not enough. Yes, he might have been training, or he will have been training himself. You don't get a body like that if you just turn up and train from 10 to 12 every single day. So, he looks after himself. But I don't see him being at Manchester United. I think, you've touched on it in the studio as well. It looks as if it's, made, and then it maybe frees up, the money that somebody would maybe have had to pay Man United. It can all go to Cristiano Ronaldo. But, as I said, I don't see him as a Manchester United player. And I don't think Erik ten Hag can be... when you go into a new club, you don't want the hassle of your so-called superstar, causing trouble and not wanting to train, not wanting to play games. So I think it needs to be resolved soon. But I don't see Manchester United keeping Cristiano Ronaldo.
I'm out of time. I'll be shot for asking you this, but in a sentence, are United a better team without him?
It's a difficult one to say because Cristiano Ronaldo is obsessed with scoring goals. And if you create opportunities for him, he's going to score goals. And that's where Manchester United, if you look at the positives that came out of Manchester United last year, he was one of them. He was, one of the ones who, done his job. But you then look at and say, did that have an impact on the team? Did it have an impact on other individuals? You speak about Anthony Martial coming back as well. He looks as if he's got a new lease of life. So, listen, it's a difficult one to say, but nobody can criticise what Cristiano Ronaldo done for Manchester United last season. Top goal scorer in the Premiership for them, and then obviously in the Premier League, then obviously in the Champions League as well. So, in terms of what he set out to do individually last year, it was a success, but as a team collectively, it was a failure.
Cristiano Ronaldo, we've obviously been talking about him quite a lot. He's been dominating this transfer window. Look, we've seen the contracts of Inter Milan players, Alexis Sanchez and Arturo Vidal, being cancelled, and going further back, Arsenal with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, if United were to take that step with Cristiano Ronaldo, do you think he'd become a more attractive option for other clubs, or is the transfer fee quite negligible with regard to his wages?
Yeah, I think that's it, Dharmesh. It's not really about the transfer fee that United would be charging, if indeed there would be one. I think it is about the wages. But what has been clear from the very beginning of this saga, that doesn't show any sign of ending in the next couple of days, is the fact that Ronaldo has been very clear that he's prepared to take a wage cut, that playing Champions League football is the thing that matters to him. What I think is interesting, as we were hearing before from Melissa and the others, is the fact that Jorge Mendes has had his feelers out there for ages, and yet he's not come back with anything concrete. Now, for me, the field is thinning out to a point where you wonder, is the answer where it all started in the first place? Sporting. Of course, we were talking about social media going into meltdown. Portugal went into meltdown a couple of months ago when at a Sporting home game, his mother, Dolores, turned up in her Sporting shirt in the director's box. And it would really make his mum happy if he went home. It would be huge for Portuguese football, where he's still absolutely adored. And because Sporting have quite a young team, as well as Champions League football, he could add something really special there.
Ronaldo back to Sporting Lisbon now. That would be a story. Andy Brassel, thank you very much indeed for now. We'll see you Thursday.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Well, let's talk some more about Ronaldo then with Melissa. What's the future? What's going to happen? What's he thinking?
Well, Andy mentions Sporting there, and that would be the emotional return. As he said, Portuguese football would go absolutely crazy for it. Massive commercial boost, interest boost, all of those things, yes. But ultimately, if you're trying to prolong your legacy in the Champions League, are you going to a club that's only going to guarantee you basically group games? They're not well known for their knockout feats.
He might think that it can turn them into knockout feats.
Well, he might think that. And here is actually the kicker. It was an emotional return to Manchester United. He was the player to return the title. He was the missing piece, along with Varane. And then that story didn't shape up the way he likes, and now, he wants to leave to go and try again elsewhere. So that Sporting sort of fairy tale idea in his head would make sense. However, one source put it to me that there's been a little PR swing. Now, if you see Ronaldo starting to engage on social media about fake news and, calling out the press for suggesting he wants to leave and is unhappy, then you get him at Old Trafford on Sunday, clapping the fans. He left early. Jury is still out on that, on whether he was permitted to leave or not, because knowing Erik ten Hag and the discipline and the standards he set, I can't imagine he would be very happy with that. But he's returned to training, he's been training well, he's been integrating with his teammates. And so all of these things, especially the engagement with the fans and the continuous talk about fake news, tells me maybe he's even realizing that the options are narrowing or have very much narrowed, and that it's looking increasingly likely that he has to stay at Old Trafford. But with Ronaldo and Mendes, you always have this, they must be working on something, they must have something up their sleeve. Because he did invoke the fake news element when he suggested he wasn't pushing for an exit from Juventus, and we know what happened there.
Still got 4 weeks, 2 days and 2 hours, I reckon, until the end of the window. So plenty of time for something to happen between now and then. We'll follow it all for you over the next few weeks here on Sky Sports News on the Transfer Show.